So this is day 2 of the Backroads trip. We are traveling from the center of the island to a coastal area on this van, rented van. There's 9 of us in this group, plus 2 main leaders and 1 support person, or van driver. And this is a rented van, separate from Backroads, that was hired for this trip to the coast. Okay, so this is a overlook during the climb along this coastal area today. So this is the standard Backroads bike, which I got by mistake. This is the one with a battery pack, and then the motor is in the crank area. And all of these left me in the dust climbing up the recent hill. So each of us has this GPS module that displays a map as we travel. We traveled 9.8 kilometers, and the next landmark is 6 kilometers ahead. The black triangle is where the bike is, and the black lines are what's behind. Usually that's at the bottom of the screen, and then this ridged part is the trail ahead. It displays when you're going to have the next turn. This points you a right turn, 200 meters, and then it counts down as you go from there. So going up a hill like that, I was basically just in the lowest low gear. And so there's nothing bad or unusual about it, except since everybody else got an electric assist, I'm always the last in line. Now there's one other person who's got a standard bike, but she's training for a 100 mile a day bike route, and I'm not training for a 100 mile a day bike route. And then the other thing is, all the e-bikes, they put a kickstand on the back wheel. And with all the manual bikes, you have to figure out some place to lean the bike against a rock or a tall curb or something like that, which is really inconvenient. Oh, so for this trip I brought along both my bicycle seat with its gel cover, and I brought along the bike mirror, which is a mirror call, something like that. And that's the only 2 pieces of equipment I brought along. So the scenery is not always this gorgeous. This is just an unusual stretch in Mallorca, and not easy to get to by bicycle either. A lot of winding roads with switchbacks going up and down.
¿Puedes eso desde el fondo de la isla?
Some devices are listed as having a 110 to 220 volt input, and that allows them to be used in Europe. This is the adapter type that we bought from Amazon. We got a 6-pack of these, and they plug into electrical outlets in Europe. And then you can plug a USB sort of charger into that sort of adapter, since this is one of these things that can go between 110 and 220 volt input. This electrical shaver is not one of those things that is listed for 220 volt input. It's only listed for the 110 volt input. We've been in 2 hotels so far in Spain, Mallorca specifically, and neither one of them has had a plug-in adapter for 110 volt razors. Suspecting that in advance, I brought along this transformer, which takes 220 volt input and steps it down to 110 voltage. Then you can plug an electric razor of this type into that transformer for using this type of electrical shaver. This is only rated though for 50 watts. So if you think you're going to run an American hairdryer on it, or some sort of a heating pad for your back, forget it. So here's the data on this sort of transformer, intended as a step-down transformer for a shaver. So since it has only a 0 to 50 watt range, that severely limits the type of devices it can be used for. Fortunately, most of the USB chargers are of the 110 to 220 volt input range, which allows them to be used with a simple converter like this plugged into a European outlet. During a 10-year period, I had been on backroads trips with my wife, and the typical pattern was to get printouts for the trip, and each day there would be an update of where you have to go and what's going to be happening. This was from a France trip in 2019. That arrangement has changed in that there's now a Backroads app, and we're given a numerical code to help us find out what's happening each day, and everything is on this app about the trip we're on. Then we can find details on what's happening each day, where we have to be and when, and how easy or hard the route is. Here we have this first ride of day 1, 23 miles, and that's all I really looked at. However, there's a big difference here on these islands in that there's a tremendous elevation gain during the rides, which makes a 23-mile ride much tougher due to the elevation gain. And then there's other details from the route, all of which is on the app. This is day 3 of our Backroads trip. We've had 2 overnights in this hotel, which is situated on top of an extremely steep mountain. Well, maybe the mountain isn't so extremely steep, but the driveway getting up to the mountain was extremely steep, and somehow I managed to bike up the mountain with a standard bicycle and not an electric motor. My wife reports this is an unheated pool, and she decided against swimming in it last night. You have to really watch your step around here because the pavement for walking is made by stones, fairly large stones, as see by the shoe size here compared to the stones. So and they're not guaranteed to be level, so you have to really watch your step here. And the rooms are scattered around this area. Ours is in the main building through there, and food is through there, and the parking lot is this direction. I don't even remember the exact name of the hotel, but it's one of these small luxury hotels of the world. And the steps are similarly confusing. So you have to really watch your feet where you're going, especially when you're an old person like me. So it might be hard to visualize here, but this parking lot is definitely on a slope as well. So when you bike to the top of the hill, you think you're already here, but then you have to walk up the parking lot before you get to the hotel itself.
Yeah, there was a chapter saying this is from Backroads, Miguel.
My first car was a Renault,
No, Miguel.
except we called it a Renault at the time. As well as the morning food laid out here. There's also ordering of food that you want from the kitchen. And this room almost challenged to get in here due to stairs with no handrails. Okay, so this is the first hotel we've had with Backroads on this trip. These doors can be opened or closed into this garden area, which appears to be designed for our use. Not quite packed for going. We're going to move tomorrow, one more night here, and then move tomorrow to a second hotel on a different island. My wife had to point out that these curtains act as bug screens. So the toilet side doesn't have as much privacy as the previous hotel we had. This is a larger flush on the left, smaller, like liquids flush on the right. Has 2 sinks and a walk-in shower with an extremely large shower head or a handheld sprayer, and 2 other sprayers that spray sort of straight out, or you can angle them. This window opens up for ventilation. Being a solid stone sort of building, there is no exhaust fan. Now, this is something my wife thinks ahead of and brought. This cord is adjustable in length and can strap to various items, and so you don't necessarily have to bring all the underwear you're going to need. There's no time during the 6 days with Backroads to go out to a laundromat. So this is helpful if you want to wash a little. And these are nearly dry overnight. The previous night my wife did some of her underwear. And this sort of has a Velcro attachments at each end to attach whatever you can to existing fixtures inside the shower area. Now, one idea I added to this process was, also to comment, they actually have a place to hang towels, and this is a heated towel rack, so the towels actually can dry overnight. Now, what I did, and I learned from a previous friend, was to use the towel that you have to dry out the underwear. So what I did was I took my towel after the shower, laid it out on the bed, and then placed the socks in a sort of pattern along the towel. Then I rolled up the towel, so it was in a tight little roll with the socks inside, sat it on the bed, and then I sat on the towel roll. It actually bounced a lot on the towel roll, and that took out lots of water. The towel ended up quite wet afterwards, and now it's nearly completely dry because of this heated towel rack. But it took most of the moisture out of all these socks, so they wouldn't have had a chance of drying overnight with just wringing them out, but squeezing the moisture out of them and other type of underwear into a separate room towel can then make it possible to extend your supply of underwear through a very short stay at various hotels. And the hotel name I could not remember. Less than an hour later, the fog is partially cleared, so there's some view of the surrounding landscape.
Just take your time to cross that, and then we'll be working our way back into country roads. So it is a cruisy morning. It's great for getting your legs warmed up, and we're just working our way gradually north, back towards the Tramontana mountain range that we were in yesterday. Okay, so we don't want to never use the F word in Backroads, which is flat. Okay,
that's not my normal guys.
I've never even heard that word in Backroads.
To be fair.
But we can say kind of like flat-ish, okay, to warm up our legs through this morning ride. So the first thing that we really want you considering is when we get to a decision point. right? And that is at kilometer 25.8. We will have a van there. It is also more of a busier intersection that has some roundabouts to navigate. We're throwing it all at you, but you've had time to wake up to get to that point. Okay, so at kilometer 25.8, you can either continue straight, and we're going to go into the town of Alaro to our favorite cycling shop on the island, which is called Cycling Planet. It's a cycle shop, but it's also a cafe, and they make delicious coffee and tea drinks. So a lovely mid-morning stop that we kind of encourage everyone to go do, but you know, up to you, right? It's just super nice. So we will offer that. For those who are like, okay, no, I feel caffeinated enough, I'd rather just get some additional mileage in and additional elevation in, then we would change your Wahoo file here to do day 3 AM 2, and you would add this 8 kilometer, 5 mile little extension, okay? That adds a climb of around 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers, but it's a bit steeper than what we have experienced thus far on the trip. So we're looking at an average of close to 7%. This climb is lovely. Like, you're in a really beautiful countryside area. Again, one of those like more narrow roads where you're not anticipating there being like a sizable truck coming the other way, but it does happen. Like 3 days ago on my leisure ride. But regardless, you go up and then you will drop back down, but you see that you're scooping yourself around the town of Alaro. So if you do long option, that means that you're not stopping for coffee. Okay? Just want to make sure that that trade-off is communicated. Then we will all, I mean, at some point, we're not all going to group back together here, but this is where the routes rejoin, and then we do all have a climb up to the town of Orient. So this climb is more like what you were experiencing yesterday in terms of grade. So it's 6 kilometers and an average of 5%. This is one of like the classic climbs in the Tramontana. It's beautiful. We will definitely not be out there alone. There'll be other cyclists out there. And you just have these really cool rock formations all around you. You're looking at the terracing. It's beautiful. So just find a gear that feels good to you and take your time. A lot of it also has some coverage from the beautiful sun that we're experiencing today. So it's a partially shady climb and just one of like Backroads leaders' favorites. We go and do kind of a version of this loop from our house all the time. So the road has been vetted for you properly. So you will climb up Col de Orient, and then you're going to be so excited that you made it to the top, and you know that lunch is pretty close, and you're ready to get out of your saddle for a little bit, and you have momentum because you're starting a downhill. But we want you to really control your speed on that downhill so that you don't blast right past lunch and then continue down that downhill where then you then have to turn around and come back to lunch, okay? So we are going to, Andrew's going to bop ahead of all of us so that he can drop a safety triangle outside of our lunch spot. So you want to actually look for that, okay? Look for the fluo triangle that's going to be on your left as you're cruising downhill, and it's kind of a hairpin turn and a little bit blind. Woo! That's it. That's it. No other, nothing else. Day 3, we feel like you're ready to handle all of this.
I feel like you don't really want us to have lunch.
So please just, when you get to the top of that climb, you know, your Wahoo's going to be congratulating you, summit, and then your downhill's going to start. Then just start processing, okay, I'm turning left pretty soon. When you turn left into lunch, you still have one more climb, because that's how Backroads does things. And it is not the nicest of road quality, okay? So it's bumpy, switchbacky, but it's a driveway, okay? So you're not going to have to worry about a lot of traffic coming up it. You just are still going to be maybe in your sport or turbo mode. And you're like, I just want to get off of the bike right now and take a break, but you just have a couple of switchbacks to get you to the lunch spot. When that road ends, there is like a little stretch of gravel. We ask you all to just stop before you hit that gravel, get off your bikes and walk that last stretch to where you'll see one of us around there. We'll take your bike from you and lead it up. But we just don't want you trying to navigate gravel because, you know, gravel's just not a cyclist's best friend. So at the lunch spot, we will have done 29 miles if you did the long option, or 24 miles to get us to that point if you don't do that little additional climb, okay? So that's already a really great day, and At lunch, we will check in with you to see if you are ready to call it and you've had enough riding, or if you would like to continue post-lunch. We'll also do like a recap of this at lunch, just to remind you what your options are post. I'll go through them now, but we realize it's a lot of information for you to process. But we will just ask you with enough time for us to prepare ourselves, get your bikes organized accordingly to plan the afternoon. So what does the afternoon look like? If you decide to stop riding, all of us are going to go to the winery one way or the other, either on two wheels or in the van. If you do not want to visit the winery, actually no, I would just rather come back to the hotel and enjoy the afternoon, we can have taxis arranged to meet you right there at the winery, pick you up and take you straight back here. But just for you to know, just in terms of logistics, we all have to get there one way or the other. But you know, those of you who are shuttling, you don't have to wait for everyone else. We can just have a taxi waiting for you, and off you go. That makes sense? Okay. And then for those of us who are riding, post-lunch, we kind of cruise through this really beautiful valley, flat-ish again, and then we have a 2-kilometer climb, so not that long compared to what you've done already in the morning, but it is not very nice road quality. Okay, so that's what the rocks there are again. So it's rougher. Your wheels on the e-bikes are good at going over all of that stuff, but just to know that it's going to be a little bit more of those massages in your seats type of a climb. We'll get to the top of that, and then we do have a more extended descent. It's not super steep, but it is a longer descent with switchbacks. So just controlling your speed and making sure to stay on the right side of the road. At lunch, if anybody is interested in talking a little bit about technique with switchbacks and how to adjust your weight on the bike, we're happy to go over that with any of you, but we'll save that, so we're not bombarding you with information right now. But you do have this cruisy descent into the town of Bunyola, and then after that, we have, again, flat-ish country roads for you to just kind of decompress from the morning until we get close to the winery. But then we're going to throw one more thing at you. We have to navigate the town of Santa Maria. We're going to feel good for that, though, right? It's okay. Like, feel adventurous. We know how to reroute ourselves on the Wahoo if we get a little off course. Right? We do. You see where your triangle is, you see where the chevrons are, and you just got to get yourself back to that point, right? That's all. So we're going to navigate the town of Santa Maria. We have the utmost of faith in all of you. Saint Mary, yeah, just pray to Saint Mary. If nothing else works. Right. Just make sure you're with Terry and all will be well. I will also be out there on the bike with you. Okay, so we will figure that out together. And then the question that everyone has been asking is, what is this, right? It's our visual for an underpass. So it's not quite a tunnel, but we are going down something that the van cannot go, but it's an underpass, but it's a pretty steep down and up, so we just like to call that out in advance because you kind of have this like momentum boomerang effect where you go down and you're like, whoa, I'm back up, but right at the other end of that underpass there is a road. So we just want you to control your speed as you're going under as you're going through the underpass. Just know that you're going to get a decent amount of speed, but to yield before you cross that road. And then after that we get to Bodegas Angel, which is where we're going to have our wine tasting in the heart of the Binisalem wine region. So we'll teach you a bit more about that and its significance to Mallorca once we're there. But they're our friends. They're very used to Backroads. They love having us, and it's just like a really fun afternoon activity. If you're interested, if you like their wine and you're interested in buying it, they're actually one of the few wineries that ship to the U.S. that actually will export, because most of the rest are small and the wine is drunk here. Right? So it's a neat experience to be able to ship Mallorcan wine back home and show off to all of your friends. And just a really fun experience overall. Post-wine visit, we find that most people are kind of ready to be done on your bike, and that makes sense because you've done a really good amount of distance by that point. If you still wanted to just complete the loop, you're like, okay, I'm almost there, then you have an additional 12 kilometers between the winery to come back here to the hotel, and then you've done 89K. Right? A lot of different options. We can remind you about all of them throughout the day. We can help you make the decision that feels best to you. But do those concepts make sense for the day? Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
One thing about lunch, it only applies to a couple of us, but if you do have cleats on your cycling shoes, they don't like us walking through their home with the cleats, so we'll just ask you to swap your shoes for lunch. It'll probably feel good to take those off for a little bit anyways. And I think those are the most pertinent information for the moment.
Does the bike shop have cycling jerseys?
Totally. A lot. Yeah.
True.
You know, one is a shock that turns into formaldehyde, and one I don't know, because there's food in it, if it turns to formaldehyde.
Well, one should always eat if one is drinking.
By the way, the other use for the coca leaf,
Yeah.
that's leaf. I gave the wave. It was a shortcut.
We're 0 for 3 on pouncing.
Yeah.
0 for 3.
And I was with Lisa there.
This is the town you came to for dinner last
Didn't you just pass, Laura?
What'd you say?
Didn't you just pass?
Twice. She's magic.
It's on now.
And it was like only accessible by helicopter.
What do you want? Why don't you ride your bicycle?
Oh no. There was one package for one person. I'm sorry. He's not as thrilled with them as I am, so he didn't fight. It was not much of a fight.
Were we supposed to go to the market? Was that on our route? We went right.
Today was the market day.
So 6 of our 9,
It is nice, isn't it?
plus 2 of the leaders are here at this
Busy today. A lot of cyclists
rest stop.
out. I saw a few little pelotons going through.
Here we are in Mallorca for a short flight to Menorca for the second half of our backwards trip to these 2 islands. There is a boat that can be taken, but the turbulence can be very bad on the water, and airport seems to be the smoothest way to get us from one place to another, although our bags are left last night for the boat trip across. So we only have our carry-ons, minimal carry-ons for the trip.
And it's far less traveled, so the big thing to note is we're going to have quieter roads, mostly quieter roads, but also the roads are not as good. All right, so there are some potholes, there's some gravel, so please be extra careful today, especially once you start this long option. That's where you're going to start noticing, oh wow, we're not in Mallorca anymore. The roads are just not the same. So we're going to go over 3 options today. I know some of you probably are feeling a little bit tired, and that's okay. It's actually, not a bad thing at all. Today's a perfect day to take it easy, and I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous out. This is perfect pool weather. So if you want to do a short ride just to get moving a little bit, but head to the hotel, then our PM1 is the option for you. Okay, this is 14 kilometers, all right, and it's only 650 feet of elevation. That's going to go straight to the hotel, Torre Blanc. It's a very pretty hotel, and you can spend the whole afternoon there relaxing before our dinner tonight. So what will happen for everybody, we're going to leave together out here where we're leaving, and then right away we're getting onto a busy road. All right, right when we get on this busy road, if you're taking the short option, you're going to go to the left. All right, you're going to turn or veer hard left on a busy road, so make sure you're taking it easy to cross. We're going to hopefully have somebody there to help you cross. And then you're going to go through some, not as quiet roads, but a little bit less busy than the original road you're on. And we're going to turn down here through some vineyards, a couple short climbs up to the hotel. All right, that's the first option. 14 kilometers, not so much elevation. The van will be there to welcome you, and you can have a really nice hotel day.
Okay, why are these in those little orange dots?
Because this will be for day 5 and day 4.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so the ones that overlap, we're going to be doing that twice.
Okay.
And that's really the only way to get to and from our hotel.
Okay.
All right, so that's the option number 1. Option number 2, PM2, is kind of our big option of the day. It's 40 kilometers, and it's 1,500 feet of elevation, okay? But not so many huge climbs, it's more of a series of small climbs and some rolling. And this is an out and back. So we're gonna go together leaving here, and this is the most important part to know is kilometer 3, okay? Kilometer 3 is where most people miss the turn. We're gonna have Carlos there, okay?
There it is.
It's a busy road. It's a busy road, and then what's going to happen is you're going to be riding. If you do this option, you're going to be riding, and you're going to see a kind of a gravel dirt road, and the Wahoo's going to start to say like, turn right, easy turn to miss, and you're going to be tempted to turn right onto that road. It's not a problem if you do. It all connects, but it's better to skip that like rough road and just go a little bit further, and then take that sharp right turn. All right, that's where the van's going to be parked. So you should see the Backroads van at kilometer 3. Okay, then we're going to have same up little short climbs rolling along this natural park where it's famous for this freshwater or brackish water lagoon. We're going to be going through that. You're probably going to see some hikers that are taking that long trail around the island, and we're going to go all the way out to this rocky coastline to a lighthouse. It's a beautiful striped lighthouse called the Far de Favorits. It was one of the many lighthouses built in the beginning of the 20th century, because you'll see once we get out there, this coastline is so rocky. So there are hundreds of shipwrecks still finding from all the different eras too, not just modern shipwrecks, but ancient shipwrecks. Really cool. I'm sure there's amazing things underneath this sea. Really great day. Coming back, same weekend. Making this turn that we was talking about earlier, head to the hotel. Right? Now, that's a great option. 40 kilometers. If you want to do just a little bit more, we have a third option that only adds 5 kilometers. Okay? Just 5 extra kilometers, and this is going to take you straight to the coastline to see one of the calas. All right? So if you decide right away, I want to do this now, and that's what I want to do, great. We'll switch your Wahoos now and just put you on this. It'll take you the whole ride up to the lighthouse, back down, and then to the cala, and then back to the hotel. Okay? So it's just 5 kilometers extra, and it takes you to this cala called Cala en Porter. All right? It's a busy, little town, a very popular tourist town. and you're going to go through here, that's when you want to zoom the Wahoo in all the way, because it's going to have you make a couple different turns. And then you have this really great view of the Cala. There are going to be some sailboats anchored out there. It's this stunning turquoise blue water that some of you have seen on the ride on day 2. Really beautiful. And then after that, it'll bring you back up here and bring you to the hotel. So you can mix and match those options. It's not so hard to switch your Wahoos if you decide, hey, I'd like to do this first section and do this Cala. You can do that. It's not in the Wahoo, but we can set it up for you so that it works. So you can do the 14 straight to the hotel right now. You could also do the 14 to the hotel and add an extra 5 going to the Cala, but there's just no Wahoo setting, so we'll have to set it for you once you cross that busy road. All right? But most of you will probably do the PM2 to the Lighthouse, at least, we think. Yeah. And then, if you don't know if you're going to do the extra 5, you don't have to decide right now. We can decide at some point on the ride. All right? One thing that's important is the gate code. All right? It's not so important because you can just press the call button and hopefully someone will be at reception in not too long to then let you in. We also hope that this is the code for this week. All right? So they've been changing it often, but we wrote a couple on some cards so you don't have to remember it. It's 805. All right, so we're going to give 1 to everybody or every couple at least. There we go.
have to ride with Dave.
Carlos is going to take 1. There we go. All right.
And then we could go to the desk.
Exactly. So there will be the Backroads van there. Kelly's going to be there to welcome you. Your luggage should be in your rooms. Day bags you're going to leave in the van with the trailer, and Kelly's going to take that straight to the hotel. All right. We just want to kind of get an idea before we get on our bikes, like who's going where, just so that we can best support you along the route.
I'm doing the Lighthouse.
Great. Lighthouse. Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse.
So the short.
I want to do
No,
the
Lighthouse is
short
the long.
option, but with the 5
Excellent.
kilometer add-on.
Excellent. All right. We'll set you up in just a moment.
Sure.
Anyone else know where they're going to head?
Whatever you want to do, I'll do.
I'm going to go to the restroom.
I guess
No, I
it's
know.
either one or one with the option. You could
Hi, Heather.
Oh, this is awesome. Hope Jane's okay.
You know what? I worry that the ankle
Went down hard.
She did.
All right, next picture stop, the Lighthouse. This is beautiful.
It's because it's so, like, I want to get a picture when we go back, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, of the whole
Wow.
moonscape, yeah.
it's just
Excellent. Yep, you can do it.
Thank you. You don't want one of yours? I know. I just.
no one looks at my pictures. So, okay. You know what you look like, Heather. You know you want to unpack this.
Don't rub it in. Don't rub it in.
This is so pretty.
I can't believe people aren't doing it.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, I don't see why we can't just go.
I think we can.
I think we
Worst,
will.
worst could happen, they say. Go
What's
back.
it? Ask for, better to ask.
One just looking in that direction you pointed.
Okay, that's pretty spectacular.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad we did it. Hello. As I go closer.
Hey.
Oh, big Andrew.
Oh, good.
From over there, you go to Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu, you can find these slings, and the people from over there are still using the slings. This is made with a llama wool, okay, the animal who spits, okay. They make this sling. If you have a look, what will you're going to find? One ring, one middle part, and over here, okay, connecting all the world with the slings. From there, we can fly to the civil Spanish war, okay. This is made from a belt, okay, and that's where you're going to find the parts. And this in the Civil War, they use it to throw grenades to the enemy. They put the grenade and throw the grenade to the enemy.
Oh,
These
when you
kind
threw
of
it
slings
behind
make
you,
it
Lisa,
easy
that would've been
with
bad.
a knife and scissors, okay? Are you from America?
Yes.
We're going to fly. Do you know Hawaii? Guam? Do you know the island of Guam?
Guam?
Guam is an island. It's the last island in from America, closer to Asia. Half of it is from the Navy soldiers, okay, and the other part is from the rural people who live over there. As well, these people had slings. As well, these people had like taulas similar like here, more like mushroom, but like T-shape, okay? And 3,000 years ago as well, the same period we had over here, and they're using this kind of slings. And if you have a look, what we're going to find? One ring, one middle part, and a tail. Over there is a very romantic, first they use it for defense, but as well for make religious things. In the stones, they had a ritual who put the prayer or message to the god, went to the cliff and sling this message with the stone to the god, to the sea. Even now, if you go and make snorkel over there, it's easy to find snorkeling, stones with something right 3,000 years ago, somebody threw it to the sea. Okay? Here, as well, we had inscriptions to our enemies, and we put in the lead bullet something like, take that, or have this piece of sugar, are you still alive? So imagine you're the enemy, you are hit by a slinger, okay, you take the bullet out, and after you can read, take that. No? So, as well, we send a message to somebody, but not for the God, okay? And from there, the last one you see, Menorca, Israel, South America, going to Guam, so making all the world, and we're finishing in Tibet, in Nepal, okay? Look what wonderful sling they have over there. What we're going to find? One ring, one middle part at the end, and these people, they pick 5 stones, like David and Goliath, as well, curiosity. they sling these 5 stones to get the bad energy out of the body, and after make meditation or whatever they make. So you see, the slings are not a very popular thing, but all the world had slings and came to the same conclusion that how to make a sling. Here, for survive, and other places, for rituals and that kind of thing.
So interesting.
Somebody have any questions? You do? Applause for everyone, you make it perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Enjoy your trip.
Thank you.
And if you go past Torralba, you will see it with your bags, where you're going to see it. Torralba as well has a big monument. This was the houses of the sling.
Amazing.
Don't forget your helmets on the way out, because he's going to still
for
be
me, it will
practicing
be
right now. So,
a dog? I had a dog.
Wow.
Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Luis. Wow.
Actually, I don't have to pick up any of mine. I think they just dropped in my feet.
Mine only fell mostly near Andrew's.
Yeah.
So one question I have about... Sure. Thank you, gracias.
Window.
This is our second and last hotel room with Backroads. This one is on Menorca. We have this outdoor patio area, bedroom area here. Now I talked to the other 4 groups of people, and none of them have this. Steps inside the hotel room. Sitting chairs, desk, TV, refrigerator, stuff for sale, closet, and then another 3 sets of steps. Tub, shower with a large shower head. This has a sloping floor so we don't get any leaks. So the shower has this translucent door, which works very well. Similarly, the toilet room has this translucent door, equipped with a bidet. And I will say this 3-step arrangement twice, 3 different levels, is very hazardous. I had been here less than an hour before I got distracted and was looking at the goal of where I was walking instead of looking at where my feet were going, and tumbled down the last step at the lower level as I was heading towards the nightstand. So we're counting out. I'm feeling the walls for each time I'm going up the steps. My wife is counting out 1, 2, 3. So it was probably because we asked for 2 separate twin beds instead of one large queen or king bed. And there was probably only one of those in the system. So I will say, after having biked 3 days with an electric assist bike and 2 days with a standard bike. It is unrealistic for normal backroads participants to bike with a standard bike on these two islands of Mallorca and Menorca. There's just so many hills. These are actually islands that competitive bikers go to train for really tough terrain. And the rest of us are, you know, we're just trying to have some fun, and the electric bike makes it a lot easier. The front gear is only one gear, and the back has like 10 different gears on it to last through all different terrain. I mean, you can still push hard, but it's much better to have some electric assist if you're going to be on vacation and not training for a big event like the Tour de France. So that's just my take on this 6-day adventure on these two islands. That being said, for my normal biking in Florida where there's no elevation gain, and Virginia where there's only little elevation gain, I use a standard bicycle and do just fine. But these islands are really tough. In similar fashion, if you're heading up into a really stiff wind, the electric assist makes a big difference on keeping up a good pace despite being into a headwind. Now when you're going up a steep grade, usually you're in the lowest low gear, but when you're having an electric assist, you're not in the lowest low gear, so you end up going up a hill faster. So this is day 6 of our backroads trip, the final morning 3-hour ride. And it's got some interesting coastal scenery.